Welcome to Local, Global, Local, LGL for short. This course picks up where MBS, Mathematics Behind Sanctification, left off, where we discuss how an agent finds himself in a group. This series is about determining the agent's ability to act on their environment to act back on them. And today we are going to be talking about leadership. If you're in a group, one of your options to interact with that group would be to lead that group. Before we go into our example today, I want to touch on the book of Daniel. In Daniel, King Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonians, is ruling over God's chosen people, and he chooses to get 4 of the young Jews to serve in his palace court. And this would be Daniel and his friends Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Those were the names they were given when they entered the service, and that might ring a bell for a worship song we all know. Now, Daniel is the leader of this group of guys, but what I want to draw attention to is that his leadership happens on 2 levels. The first is going to be on the level of a smaller decision. So Daniel declines the chance to eat at the king's table, to have the wine that they had allotted for them, and instead decides to opt for just vegetables and water. And in the first major conflict of the book, King Nebuchadnezzar, upset that his dream cannot be interpreted, issues an edict throughout the land to kill all of the wise men. And this being a threat to Daniel and his group, he takes it upon himself to plead for that not to happen. So as we can see, Daniel has expressed leadership on a small decision and on a large, more impactful decision. When talking about leadership, I wanted to use an autobiographical example for this lecture. I am an Eagle Scout. If you're ever wondering what that is my framed Eagle Scout badge. And to become an Eagle Scout, you have to complete a project that is the culmination of up to 7 years of work on personal development. So I want to share some fundamental principles that undergird leadership. And this is also what I used to teach back when I was a Boy Scout as well. So the first thing a leader really has to have is vision. You got to be able to see what you want, understand it, have the details, so that as you move forward guiding your organization to accomplish this goal, you have your eye on the ball. The second part is 2 parts. The first part is when you're a leader, you are not suddenly all-knowing. You are not the expert. You are not the master. It is vitally important to be able to lean on the experience of people who have more experience than you, that are part of your organization. But at the same time, you might not be at the top, but assuming because you're a leader, you're not at the bottom either. So then it becomes your responsibility to lead the rest of the group, the rest of the congregation, the rest of whatever organization you're a part of. And now finally, if you ask any Boy Scout what the secret to leadership is, I guarantee they will tell you that it is delegation. Delegation might be the most essential skill set that a leader has, because you need people to do the tasks that you are not actively doing because you are leading the group, not one of the foot soldiers of the group. So my project, this was done in August of 2017, was to construct a big wooden 12 by 12 elevated platform. It was a wooden platform for tent camping that was on a slight hillside, so it became logistically difficult. And the Eagle Scout project is a lot more planning than projects. You got to go through this whole long process. You need a mentor. You got to work with your partner organization. You got to plan everything out, have all the details ready before you can even begin the project. That's your vision. Then, with leaning on the strong, me going into this project did not have the handyman skills or the architectural mind to have all the nitty-gritty details about the structure's actual construction ready and available. That's where you lean on scout dads. Some of the greatest men of all time are scout dads. And I was able, through them, to get this plan with all the dimensions and all the tools and everything you needed set up, so that I was able to lead the grunt work, the foot soldiers of the group. And then finally, delegation. This becomes incredibly important when you're talking about younger scouts. These are boys age 11, 12, 13, hard to corral, hard to motivate into action most of the time. You, as the leader, need to effectively delegate to them their responsibilities, the parameters of their responsibilities, the time frames of their responsibilities, the who, what, where, when, why of what it is that they need to do. That's a good fundamental breakdown of what leadership inherently entails on the most basic level. But what I would put to you is that this is not only a ability or strength or exercise that you have to do in these hyper-specific training requirements for young men to develop leadership capacity. Leadership is everywhere, whether it's your friend group. They're off running around, maybe getting into some bad things, having some bad ideas, and may become your role to step forward and right the ship. Or your siblings, regardless of where you fall in the birth order. By nature of being a sibling, this gives you a certain amount of gravitas with which you can maybe change a group dynamic, maybe change a group culture, maybe put someone on the right direction as opposed to the wrong direction. And men, biblically, leaders of the household. Very important to have this mindset honed, sharpened, and ready to face whatever life might throw at you. Thank you, and God bless.